Hi guys, thank you for tuning into my channel. Today I am here to introduce my new Star brush collection. It includes 15 brushes in this set, as well as a brush case. It's synthetic hairs, and when I tell you these brushes are amazing, I actually did this look today that I'm going to show you guys in a couple of minutes, step by step, on how I use each individual brush. That's why I absolutely love this brush set, because you actually can use all of the brushes. You know how you'll get a brush set of 15 and maybe 6 of them roughly that you will actually use and like, and that will be beneficial to your makeup application. You know what I'm saying? And like I tell people all the time, brushes matter. And also, if you've seen any of my other videos, you'll know that I love a brush that I can get multiple uses out of. And that's what you're going to see in a couple of minutes, how you can actually use these brushes multiple times for what I did. And then so I know once you get them, you'll be able to use them in other different creative ways as well. So that's why I'm super excited about this. I hope you guys enjoy this video. I hope you guys enjoy these brushes even more so. So definitely, if you have them already, go grab them and you can work along with me. And if you don't, just make sure you get them after this video, because you're definitely going to love them. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed this video. First, I'm going to start off by doing my concealer. Now we have an angle brush that looks like this in the set, and I'm going to do my concealer with this. This I can also do my gel liner at the bottom with, and I can do my concealer. So right now we're going to use this to do our concealer with. And I'm making sure I saturate my brush with the concealer on both ends. And it's going pretty easy. Once I do that, I'm going to take actually either one of these 3 brushes to blend out my concealer. And I like these because they kind of like have a little fluff to them. They're a little thick, so they're going to blend really well. They're going to give a nice blend. So either one you can use. You can use a smaller one or a bigger one, whichever one you feel more comfortable with on your eye. If you have a big eye, of course I would use a bigger one. If you have a small eye, I would definitely use the smaller one. So it's totally up to you. Now I'm going to use that same brush and a darker concealer to actually conceal my eye area. I like how it's blending it like seamlessly. These are the things that you pay attention to when actually purchasing brushes. Now I'm going to go in with this guy here. And I like that it's fluffy, so I'm going to use it just because I'm doing a sheer application of a powder just to set the concealer that I put on. So I'm going to use this brush, put a good bit on there, and it's going to lightly apply the powder on my eye. The looser the brush, the less the product. And I just kind of want to set that concealer. And as you can see, this brush here sits right perfectly in the eye. So you have better control over what you're doing. Okay, now that that is done, we're going to go into the eyeshadow. So I'm going to do a very simple look, just to show you like how to use the brushes and you know what you can do with them. So we're going to keep it real simple. I'm going to go in with my buffer color, as I will always do, regardless of what eye I'm going to do. So we're going to use this brush here. It's a small dome blending brush. It's perfect to fit right into the crease of your eye, so that's why I really like this one. And I'm just gonna blend it right here. Windshield wiper motion, and you're gonna see how flawlessly that blends that shadow. It don't apply too much, just enough. But I actually love the feel of it too. Like, you know, sometimes you can use brushes and you can blend and it feels like it's sticking you or poking you in the eye. Not with these. It's a very, very soft feel. This is something for makeup artists that your clients will love too. This is those relaxing brushes. And I'm going with something a little bit darker. So I'm going to use this same brush. So now I'm gonna go in with this smaller blender brush. I actually like this one because it's small enough to get into those small areas where we really want those colors to pop, especially when we're doing the darker colors like in our corner crease. This is the perfect brush because it's gonna fit right there and you're not gonna have your dark color like all over in the rest of your eyeshadow, you know? So you have better control with this brush when doing something like that. See how that's going right there? Like I can feel like right that little space behind my eyeball where you're supposed to put that dark color. The brush fits perfectly there. You can see how it's just like put that shadow right in that area. Okay, so now once I've done that, I got all my colors blended in my crease. I think I used 3 different colors. So you saw how I can use those brushes to perfectly blend out my crease. Now I'm going to use one of those flat brushes that I said that, which was the smaller one that we could have used for concealer as well. I'm going to use that for my lid color and my eyeshadow. One thing, what I love about these brushes is that you can actually use them with liquid or powder, and they work perfectly fine with either one. See, I'm just patting it on there and it's really packing that color on. And I like the size of it because it fits perfectly on my lid. The brush isn't too big, isn't too small. Now, of course, I'm going to do my inner corner highlight color. I'm going to reuse my little mini blender right there that I used to blend that dark color in my crease, but I'm gonna clean it off because this is gonna work perfectly in the corner of my eye. See, I told you these brushes are awesome and they have multiple uses. That's what I love about certain brushes, when I can use them for more than one thing. Okay, so now that my shadow is all completed and done, I'm going to use this little baby right here. I know a lot of times we see these in brush sets and like, okay, what to do with it? But I'm going to use this to put on my gel liner. I love to use a gel liner or even a liquid liner for my eyeliner on top and bottom. So I'm going to use this to do my top liner. Look how smooth it's applying. Oh, that was perfect. Okay, now we're going to start doing the face. We're going to start doing the foundation first. This is the foundation brush here. I love this brush because it buffs on your foundation. It gives it an airbrush feel, and you don't have to worry about any streaks or anything, or you know, any unevenness in your application. because you can easily just buff it out and smooth it out with this brush. Also, if you have somebody who wants a real sheer application, it's so easy to sheer out your foundation with this if you just continuously buff, and it'll sheer it out perfectly. I love this brush. And then again, it's just as soft as the other brush I was telling you about. It don't feel like it's poking you or anything like that. Okay, see how even and pretty it has my foundation? Now I'm gonna go in with that brush that I used for my concealer early on, and I'm just gonna like touch up certain areas in those little tight spots. And then I have some spots up here that I wanna kind of cover a little bit more, so I'm just gonna use this smaller brush to get into those smaller areas. Now for my concealer, just gonna apply it into here. I'm gonna use this one. As you can see, it's a short dome shape, but even though it looks really stiff, it's not as much. It still has a lot of looseness to it, a lot of flexibility. So that means it's gonna blend really well. It's gonna actually blend my concealer really well and not be too hard to where it moves the concealer and not blend it. So as you can see, I'm doing just a stippling motion, and that concealer is blending right in without taking away from it, without taking away from the coverage. See how I was able to blend it, and my concealer is still intact and it's still even. These are the things that you look for your brushes to do when you're actually picking out a brush set or individual brushes. But luckily with this one, all of these brushes come in one set, so that's a plus. Now I'm going to take my powder, and I'm going to use this brush here that I used to set the concealer on my eyelid. On my eye, I'm going to use that to set the concealer underneath my eye as well. And again, it's going to perfectly fit in that area. So I have a lot of control on where I'm placing my powder. Okay, now I'm gonna do just a little highlight and contour. Well, I already kind of highlighted with my concealer, but I'm gonna do my nose and forehead area. So again, I'm gonna use a brush small enough to kind of fit in that area. I'm gonna use this one. This was another one we opted out not to use for, what was it? The concealer, blending the concealer, but we can use it to blend our highlight. And again, it's small enough to perfectly fit down the bridge of my nose to keep that product right there. I'm just gonna take my foundation brush and kind of like buff those edges out. Now I'm gonna go in with this brush that I used to set my concealer with, and I'm going to dust it off just a little bit and go in with my contour. And I like it because that little dome top fits right there. So see how it's applying the product right where I need it with little to no effort. So now you don't have to worry about your contour being so wide or too much or too small. It perfectly fits there. Now I'm gonna go in with the same brush that I used to do my eyeshadow on the lid. I'm gonna dust it off and I'm gonna use that to apply my contour on my nose. And if you can see, I'm just lightly tapping it. But the shape of the brush is making it so perfect to just, you know, make that perfect shadow on the side of my nose, where it's not too much, it don't make a harsh line, but it's just right there. Now we're gonna go in with this fluffy brush. This is actually one of my favorites because it feels so soft without feeling too thin or too weak. Because you know, normally you can get brushes like this and it just feels so flimsy. But this one here just actually feels just extra soft. See how evenly and soft that applied my powder? Perfect. Now we're gonna use this little tapered, fluffy guy here. It's kind of like the same one that we use for the powder, but this one here is a little bit more tapered and have like a dome top. But I'm gonna use this to do my blush. And I'm gonna use just a tip because I don't want to do too much blush, and just lightly dust it on the apples of my cheek. Now for my highlight. A lot of people you'll see use this brush here. It's like a fluffy buffer fan brush. I like this for when you do highlighting powder, like the setting powder, the banana powder, something like that. This is good to dust that powder off with. Like if you have excess and you're just trying to dust a good bit off, this is good for that. And I like that for this because this is very thick and it's full, so it's gonna take that product off, just, you know, all of that product, so you don't have to overwork. It's gonna perfectly take that product off. And some people like to dust their highlight on with this brush. This brush will apply your highlight really light. That's why I suggest using this when using a loose highlighter. And you know how sometimes it can get messy? Just put a little bit on this brush and dust it lightly on your cheekbones. And it's gonna give that nice airbrush feel. And it's not too, you know, frosty and just screaming highlight. We're just real light, right there. And be very careful when doing it on the forehead with this. Make sure you use just the middle part. And kind of brush up. Just to give that little glow in the center of your forehead. And then I would not, and I repeat, I would not use that to do your nose because you'll have highlighter everywhere. I love to use a smaller brush when highlighting my nose. And I'm gonna go in with one of these concealer brushes that I used earlier. I'll use a brush this size. The reason being is because when you're putting a highlight, you wanna put it precisely on the bridge of the nose so it can give that effect of a slimmer nose that's lightly highlighted versus when you put too much highlight, it makes your nose look wider. So this brush here would perfectly put it in the area that you want it. Now I'm going to go in and do the bottom shadow for my eyeshadow. And I'm going to use this little baby right here. I love it because it's stiff, it's pointy. See, it doesn't have much fluff on it. So it's going to perfectly apply that darker shadow underneath my eye. And it's small enough to where it's going to keep it right where I want it to be applied. Okay, so now you guys have seen what the Star Brush Collection can actually do. And we can see, yes, brushes do matter. Like I say all the time, it does not matter what products you use sometimes, but the brushes and tools absolutely matter. And with this brush set, you saw how we used all 14 brushes because we didn't use one, which was this little concealer flat brush here, but we know that we can always find use for that even if it's with just the lips. But this is a brush set that you guys absolutely need. And as you can see, it can be used on a professional level, but so we're going to classify them as professional brushes, okay? But they are still priced reasonably for beginners. So this is something you definitely have to get. I absolutely love this brush set. That's why it's mine. But no, seriously, as you can see, the brushes work phenomenal. I would also encourage, before you actually use them, to wash them, lay them flat to dry, and voila, you can start using them as soon as possible. Thank you guys so much for tuning into my channel. I hope you love this video, and I hope you love these brushes even more. So definitely head over to my website at www.oncuemakeup.com. I'm going to leave that link in the bottom in the description. Also, if you have any questions or anything, definitely leave them in the comment box below, and subscribe to my channel and make sure you like this video. Thank you.